Taking a look at the week beginning January 27th, end of January, beginning of February, we're looking at a stock market that with the Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq, they're all up 3 straight weeks in a row to all-time highs, with the Dow now 5.9% from its previous all-time high close. The S&P 3.6%, the Nasdaq 6.3% above its previous all-time high close. The Russell, however, reversed a 3-week losing streak this past week, and it is still 18% below its all-time high. Most important thing to look at is payrolls next week. The headline non-farm payrolls number expected to be 162,000 jobs added, and unchanged unemployment rate, slightly lower average hourly earnings, and a slightly higher average work week. That's in the face of a yield story that was basically unchanged on net for last week. So that payrolls number going to be very big. Now also we have more central banks next week. We have a rate decision meeting in the middle of the week from the FOMC, and then on Thursday we have a Bank of England rate decision. Now we're obviously looking at the statement in the press conference in terms of the FOMC. We could get a little bit more dovishness out of the UK, the Bank of England, because they've had a little bit more stress in their economy, at least in the short term, in terms of data that the US has. Also kind of under the radar, but should be on your radar, is an OPEC plus JMMC that we have next week. The Joint Ministerial Monitoring Committee meeting is tentatively set for Thursday, February 1st, but it can be moved or it can be postponed. Most OPEC plus watchers, of which I consider myself one, think that there's going to be no change in their production policy at this particular meeting, but they've been known to surprise in the past, so keep an eye on that. Earnings next week, we have 253 companies reporting with market caps over $1 billion. I'm going to list out a bunch of them, and it includes Microsoft, Alphabet, Apple, Meta, Amazon, AMD, Qualcomm, MasterCard, ExxonMobil, Chevron, Novo Nordisk, Bristol Myers, Merck, AbbVie, Thermo Fisher, Pfizer, Regeneron, Boston Scientific, UPS, Boeing, Starbucks, and Honeywell. In terms of data, Monday, Japanese unemployment rate coming out. Tuesday, EU and German final GDP figures, January consumer confidence and JOLTS data in the US, and PMI figures in China. Wednesday, German unemployment data, inflation data, then also US ADP employment report and that FOMC rate decision. Thursday, EU inflation data and a Bank of England rate decision and the ISM manufacturing PMI in the US. And then Friday, the non-farm payrolls report that I already talked about.